Perfect. So welcome here to the Virtual Event Advantage workshop. And we're going to be together for 3 days. But first, I just want you to look into if you are in the right place, because this entire workshop is about, as you understand, virtual events. But virtual event is going to help you a lot of things in your business, because it's what I call a 3-in-1 solution. And we're going to go through that. But most of you can either identify that you kind of post online every single day, but you feel like the world's best kept secret. And there is no clients coming in. You don't have a flow of leads coming in. You don't have a pipeline of leads. You don't have a pipeline of clients, and you don't have a recurring revenue or a consistent revenue. So you kind of don't know where your next client is going to come from, or your next money or paycheck is going to come from. And that have kind of resulted in a lot of stress for a lot of people. And the less effort we see, the more we jump around everywhere in different kind of strategies. So we jump from this to this and never built mastery. So I'm going to share with you today is a one-in-all solution that is going to replace a massive amount of what you do in your business today. So my promise to you is that at the end of these 3 days, you're going to have kind of the big pieces in place, how to plan and how to sell through one live virtual event. And that virtual event is going to give you a predictable flow of leads. It's going to help you grow your audience. It's going to have a predictable flow of clients and make money, of course. And at the same time, it's going to save you a massive amount of time. And I have helped hundreds of people create their events, hundreds of clients, and tens of thousands of people that have joined my workshops throughout the year to sell their offers in the capacity one too many, getting clients, grow their list, but also claim their category online. And for you who don't know me, my name is Angela. I'm a virtual event sales expert. And as you hear, my native language isn't English. I'm from Sweden. I live in Sicily. I would love to know where you are tuning in from. So please share in the comment section where you are watching from, because I would love to know. We have had a lot of people throughout the world, and I know there was a lot of signups from Australia. They're of course not going to be here with us today. So we have Sweden, of course, but you live in Switzerland. So we are all over the world. And that is the beauty with this, isn't it, right? You can create a room and you can have, it doesn't matter, you can have how many people you want in front of you. And that is one of the keys when it comes to virtual event, because the only things that limits is kind of the technology. But I think this room is set to, we could be 100 of people and you have maybe 300, 400. It's the limit. And I actually saw one coach that hosted one of his big webinars yesterday, and he had 31,000 signups. So the only limit you have is the technology of how many people you can have in the room. So that is the beauty. So I started out back in 2017 when I discovered virtual event as a way to not only sell my offers, but also to build trust very fast. And that is something that we are going to kind of come back to, because that is a huge thing in the market today, is trust. And I was still a truck driver when I closed my business into $100,000 in sales. And I did that within a month using a 5-day challenge and a webinar. And this was back in 2017-ish. And in 2019, that is when I started to help others do virtual events. And in 2020, I quit driving. And from then, this is the only thing that I have been doing, helping my clients sell with virtual events. So a couple of things before we kind of move into the content. We are here for about 60 minutes each day. So if you're watching the recording of this, it's going to be about 60 minutes. So today is going to be about how a virtual event is going to be the driving force of your success in 2026. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to fill an event. So we're going to move into more strategic parts of lead generation, and also how to drive sales or decision inside of the content in itself. And then on Thursday, we're going to move into sales in itself. How do we sell from an event? Because that is the moment where a lot of people feel most kind of resistant or scared around when they are moving into selling. So that is what we're going to do throughout the days. There is a workbook that you have been giving in one of the emails, or I think in all the emails, that you can download and print out. If you don't have the workbook today, just take out pen and paper, okay? And you can download it afterwards, because you don't need the workbook to follow along inside of the content. But I encourage you to walk through the workbook with me, because it's going to be a really good asset for you when you want to create your next virtual event, okay? And then we have the replays are up until Monday Eastern Standard Time, to midnight Monday Eastern Standard Time, so you can catch up over the weekend, because I know that a lot of you had a lot of things to do now, moving into Christmas. So we're going to have the replays up over the weekend until Monday midnight. If you have any questions throughout this, share them in the comment section. Most of the questions will be answered throughout the content. This is the last workshop that I host this year. I am not going to hold back, so I'm going to make sure that all your questions get answered throughout the days. But I will not stop in the content and kind of end up in a Q&A situation throughout the content, because I value your time. But make sure you add all the questions, and I'm going to kind of scan through them. So I'm going to share if this is something we're going to cover tomorrow or maybe on Thursday. But all your questions are going to be answered throughout the workshop, okay? So we are going to dive right in to the content now when we have kind of the ground things in place. And we are going to look into, so if you take out the workbook or if you write on a piece of paper, it says foundation of grow and scale. So if we look at what we need to grow and scale the business in 2026, is different than it has been before. The fundamentals is kind of the same, but it looks very different. And that it has to do with the market has shifted, right? We can all feel it. And we have all seen all of these shifted. And I usually say that we are now in a different type of buying era than we were before. And it doesn't look the same as it did when I started out. When I started out back in 2016, 17, it was a lot about relationships, right? It was a lot about building relationship. And that is why I went from what I was doing into running virtual events. But what happened then, if we look 2020 moving forward, is that we then moved into a more marketing-driven market where people could spend more money on ads to drive in leads into the virtual event. So it was a way more marketing-driven market. If we look now, because of everything that have happened, we are now back to a more relationship-driven market. We are craving relationship. We are craving human. We are craving actually a person to speak to. And if we kind of look back from when I started out doing my virtual event from the truck cabin using a phone. And sometimes I kind of looked like crap. I was driving from Sunday to Friday every week. I was living in the truck. I did my virtual event inside of this cabin, having a little, what do you call it, little tripod where I had my phone. And sometimes I didn't have a shower. And I sold fitness back then because I launched a fitness business online. I was a truck driver. I was living in the truck, but in the weekends I was a personal trainer in a local gym. And I wanted something else because I wanted to have money in the bank. I wanted to lay on the beach. I wanted to travel the world. So I launched a fitness business online. And it wasn't an easy business that I launched because I built an entire fitness app. And I had ads running to quizzes that then were connected to different types of programs inside of that app. Very complex, very expensive. And then I came across a 5-day challenge and I thought, wow, can it really be this simple? Can I just show up and teach and people will just buy from me? Well, what I didn't realize is that there is an entire strategy behind a 5-day challenge. So I launched a 5-day challenge and I totally failed. It totally went down the drain. So then I rehired a new coach that taught me how to build the 5-day challenge and a webinar. And that was the turning point for my business. So when I relaunched my 5-day challenge from the truck cabin and my webinar from the truck cabin, sold fitness looking like crap with a phone, turned that business into a 6-figure business within 4 months. I had made $100,000 in sale within 4 months. And then I kept running my business I kept driving my truck up until 2019-ish, when people came to me and asked me, can you help me? Can you help me sell in the way that you are selling with virtual events? And that is when I started to pivot. 2020, I quit my job as a truck driver. I closed my fitness business. And from then, this is all that I have been doing. And I wanted to share that with you because I want you to know who you're listening to. And I want you to know my story and my conviction, why I so strongly believe that virtual event is a superior way to close clients. And not only that, it's a superior way to build your list, grow your audience, build trust that we are now going to talk a lot about today or throughout these 3 days, but also claim our category because you're going to claim a topic that you're going to own on the market. It's going to be yours, okay? And for me, that is virtual events, right? For Josephine, that you have, my business partner that you see here today, for her, it's LinkedIn growth and scalable offers. She have claimed that, and she run all her virtual events around that topic. So that is also one of the things that I found that virtual event is amazing to do. So if we look at the market specifically today, the kind of a trust gap, if we're going to call it a trust gap, is bigger than ever. And I started talking about, started talking about kind of a trust recession, this trust gap, over a year ago, okay? And that have turned customers more skeptical, and they are more overwhelmed, they're more cautious about their investments, and AI have flooded the market with content that sounds amazing, but it lacks that connection, right? And people are craving something real. We are all craving something real. We're kind of done chatting to bots, these type bots and things like that. We are craving real. And buyers today, they are way smarter, they are way more educated, and they have bought programs that didn't deliver, and they have seen behind the curtain. So they are way smarter when they come to doing their investments. And that have turned into them not only buying the result anymore, they are buying you, right? They're buying into your brand, they are buying into your convictions, and they are buying into your beliefs, okay? So they trust you to guide them because they're going to take out their hardworking cash and they're going to hand over to you, and they're going to let you lead them because they trust you. And that is more than the result that you promised them inside of the program because they already bought that. They already bought all the results, right? Now they need something else. And even if AI is an amazing tool, we use it a lot inside of my programs. We have a lot of help using AI to create titles and things like that. But it's very important as a business person today to understand how AI have shifted out the market, because there is no entry level. Anyone with a phone can put up a bio, claim to be an expert, and do and sell exactly what you do. Now, thanks to AI, they can also sound like experts, right? And if we look at kind of, I looked into some data when it comes to this in 2025, over 75% of people that was asked said, I don't know what I can trust anymore. Okay? I don't know if I can trust what I see. And there's nothing wrong with AI because it's an amazing tool, but we have to remember that even if you feel that it hasn't affected me, I trust, I buy, I do all these things, so no, you are not selling into your own reality. You need to understand how AI and all the things that is going on have affected the people that you are selling to. Because the people that are going to win are the ones that listen and understands and operate in their dream client's reality, not your own reality. I might feel that, I still invest and I don't need that long time with someone before I feel like I trust them. But I'm not selling to me. And I'm not selling to me. And you need to understand what your dream clients, what your audience, the people that you want to sell to, how all these things that have been going on actually have affected them. And that means that the buying cycle is longer, skepticism is sky high, and the bar to make conversions, to make sales, way higher than it was before. So I will give, this is $1 million advice, actually. The ones that wins are the ones that master operating in their dream client's reality. That is a fact. And you are all here because you're amazing service providers. That we all know. You give your clients amazing result. But the thing is that is not enough anymore. Being a great service provider today, then you need to be more than a great service provider, because you also need to be an amazing business person. Because if you don't know how to get clients, if you can't get any clients, there is no one to get those amazing results for, right? And you, to create this transformation for the people that you are here to serve, you first need to close clients. You need to make sales. And if you don't have a simple, very repeatable way of doing that, you can be the best person in the world in what you're doing. Nobody's going to know it. Nobody's going to be able to buy it, because there is no system in place that pull in people and build this trust and convert those people to paying clients. And even with all the tools that we kind of have, all the information that is out there, we still see entrepreneurs spending 20, 30 hours per week on tactics and strategies and tools and all the things that pulls them away from speaking to people, right? And over here, you have an entire audience that is sick and tired of all the impersonal stuff, and it's just sitting there waiting for someone to speak to them. So not only do we have a trust gap, we have a connection gap, right? It's bigger than ever. And now you are going to take your virtual event and pull back into that gap. Because when you do a virtual event, you actually close that connection gap, because it puts you back in the room with the people that you are here to serve, with the people that you are here to sell to, with the people that you are here to create a transformation for. It pulls you back into that room instead of away from people, because there's a lot of strategies that pulls you away from people. The less you speak to people, the better it is. It's almost like some people are saying, right? And on the other side, people are just sitting there waiting for someone. Come on, come and speak to me, show up, be there, right? So if we look, that is kind of a new era that we have entered, and we have been it for some while, but it's just going to get bigger, which means that you need to pull back and you need to have a way to build trust very fast with your audience. So if we then look at the foundation that is going to drive your business, I said to you that we need to pull people in, we need to build trust with those people, and we need to convert that trust into paying clients. And simple said, if we want to use kind of the marketing terms, it's about lead generation, pulling people in, lead nurturing, build trust with people, lead conversion, turn that trust into paying clients. That is a baseline of a business. And that is where your virtual event is going to be totally placed, because a virtual event does all those three things at once. That is why I say it's a 3-in-1 system. Because when you run a virtual event, you're going to pull in people, you're going to invite people to come, you're going to show up in the room, it's going to kind of close that connection gap. You're going to build trust very, very fast inside of that room. And then you hand out an invitation, and that is the lead conversion. Which means running an event in cycle is going to cover your entire baseline of what a business actually looks like, the baseline of a business, but it's also going to tap into the gap that is in the market when it comes to human connection and when it comes to actually speaking to people, because there is a huge gap. And also the trust gap, because there is nothing that builds trust so fast than actually show up and speak. I mean, not everyone can host a room and just speak, right? It requires more than ChatGPT to actually do that. So that is going to help you build trust very, very fast. If we also looked at another aspect, and for the ones at the end of this, I'm going to share with you something that I'm going to invite you to. And that is in January, we're going to tap into this. Because what is very important to understand is buying psychology. And it's more important than we might think. It might sound like, yeah, I'm just going to invite people. But if we look at the buying triggers people have today, the 5 biggest, social proof, right? Social proof is one huge buying trigger that people have. Your virtual event, you're going to show social proof because you're there. You are there showing, speaking, right? That is going to show social proof. Second, scarcity, because a virtual event is an invitation with a deadline. because you're going to hand out an invitation and then it's going to be closed down. So you are going to cover the scarcity. I'm not talking about fake scarcity things here. I'm talking about the invitation to take the next step together with you. Reciprocity. That is an other buying trigger that people have. You give value first and then you receive. Okay, you don't take first without giving anything. Reciprocity. Authority. The fourth, it's going to grow your authority. And if we look at speaking, it's the biggest authority that you can have. There's a reason why people want to stand on TEDx stages, right? So it builds your authority. That is number 4. And then the last one, and we're going to talk more about this on Thursday when we talk about sales, emotional connection. And nothing builds emotional connection online, I'm going to say, than showing up live and speak, right? So not only are a virtual event is going to cover the 3 baseline in your business, lead generation, lead nurture, lead conversion. It's going to be trust very, very fast with the audience, but it also tap into all the 5 biggest buying triggers that people have. Okay. So, and just a side note for everyone, since we have Josephine here as well, a virtual event, when you have built it out, you can take it anywhere. Josephine here took her webinar or masterclass into another person's mastermind. Just think about what that alone could do for your business. If you could take your 45-minute presentation or 1-hour presentation and speak in another person's mastermind or on a physical stage, right? We had Christine who took her webinar to a real stage and stood in front of people. Just think about what that alone could do for your business. So not only do I want you to understand what a virtual event can you do for your business this way, I also want you to see the possibilities. What could it actually bring to me, right? What could I actually get out of when I start to master this strategy, okay? Because this is the thing with changes. There will be no changes if we don't set the intention behind it, right? If we don't decide that I want to do this, I am going to do this, I'm going to have this goal, and I can see what this can do for me. That is why I asked you one question before you joined in one of the emails, that I want you to think about why this matters to you. Why do you want to have a simple sales system to pull in clients? Why is that important? Because if we don't set the intention behind it, it's most likely not going to happen, or it's most likely we are not going to run the reps and nothing is going to happen, because if nothing changes, right? So if we kind of look into a little bit of the intention, you have that inside of the workbook as well. And this is more for you to do on your own. But it's very important work. And if it's something I work with a lot, that I talk a lot with my clients, it's the internal work that we need to do, right? External, there is a lot of things that we do, right? But the internal work is also equally important. And you are all here because you want to close more clients. That is obvious, right? You want to grow the right audience. You want to build momentum. You want to earn money. You want to create impact. You want to save time and spend that time on things that actually matters for you. Maybe you want to do like I want to do, lay on the beach, drink pina colada, travel the world. Might be you might want to spend more time with your family. It doesn't matter what it is. There is a reason behind, right? It's not only, I want to close clients and that's it. You want to close clients because of something, right? So with that in mind, I want you to think about, and I want you to, I think it says, let's see, I have the notebook here. It says my event decisions. So go to that in the workbook. If you don't have it, just pen and paper, okay? Then I want us to kind of future casting a little bit to your next event. And actually 2026, I would say. But if you think about what you want to sell, so I got ahead, what you're going to sell. So write that down, the investment of your offer. And this is something I also sent out that you could think about before you joined. And then I want you to think about that and write down a goal. And it can be a goal for your next virtual events. It can be like, I want to close 5 clients. I want to make 5K. Or the entire year. It doesn't matter. Just put a goal. Some type of goal on that piece of paper. And when we then move into the next 2 coming days, We are going to look into how we can fill an event, drive sales in that event to hit that goal. That is our intention of the entire workshop. But write it down, and then I want you to commit to that goal. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't need to share it if you don't want to. If you want to share it, you do. I encourage you to share it, because when we do, we kind of burn the bridge that is behind us, because we can't drive looking in the back in the mirror, right? So we need to look forward. So if you throw it out, it's more likely going to happen. And it doesn't matter what type of a goal it is. It can be money and it can be clients, because this is the thing when it comes to money. Money, clients, same thing. Because the more clients I get, the more money I make that supports my lifestyle or whatever it is that I want to do. And vice versa. When I make more money, the more clients I help. And I change their lives. And in the domino effect of that, I change the world. Because if I change the life of one person, no matter what it is, that person is going to be more happy. That person is going to be a better, let's say, father, co-worker, husband, whatever. And that affects people around that person, which affects people around these people and these people. So the domino effect changed the world. So never ever be afraid to talk about money, because money, clients, and impact, same thing. So it can be a money goal and it can be a client's goal. It doesn't matter. What is important here is that you commit to that. And this is your inner work that you need to do on your own. Okay? This is not something anyone can force on you. When I say to you that you're going to commit to that goal, when I talk about commitment, I talk about that you are being willing to commit, means do the things you said that you were going to do long after the excitement you felt when you said it has all gone. We're here in the workshop now, and you have listened to me for like 30 minutes, and you can kind of see how a virtual event, you have started to see how virtual events going to be the springboard to a lot of cash and a lot of clients in 2026, right? But when we have left this workshop, that is when you need to continue to commit to that goal. And that is where the hard part comes in, right? When the excitement and the energy we felt when we said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to run my virtual event every second month for the entire 2026. And then that excitement leave the body. And all of a sudden, I don't want to show up live. I don't want to post. I don't want to do this. And the commitment is all gone, right? So I want you to write down a question inside of that workbook. And maybe Josephine can write it in the chat if you want to copy it. You're going to write down, am I willing to commit to blank space? So am I willing to commit to blank space to hit the goal I just wrote down? So it's going to be, am I willing to commit to XYZ to hit the goal that I just wrote down? It doesn't matter if it's for the next workshop or it's the entire year's goal. You're going to use this for all your virtual events, all your whatever you do in life. It's the same thing. You can use this. Then I have 5 things that I want you to write down. You see, you have boxes in the workbook. There is 5 things that I want you to replace that blank space with. So am I willing to commit to hit the goal I just wrote down? So it's going to look like, am I willing to commit to, number 1, learn and build mastery to hit the goal I just wrote down. Number 1, learn and build mastery. Second, show up consistently. Okay? Am I willing to commit to show up consistently to hit that goal? Number 3, invest time, invest focus, and invest finances to hit that goal. That is number 3. Number 4, trust the process and run the reps. I would say that is a tough one for a lot of people. So am I willing to commit to trust the process and run the reps to hit that goal? And the last one, be willing to change. Am I willing to commit to be willing to change to hit that goal? And there should be no no's here, right? It's obvious, because it's important to understand if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you answered yes to all this, I know that you're not the person that is going to go out after this workshop. Now you're all excited. And after this workshop on Monday, you're going to go back and do the same shit that didn't work before. You are going to change. You're going to take what I'm going to share with you today and throughout the 2 next day. I'm not going to hold back. And you're going to change something. You're going to take that and implement something. A month from now, you're going to run that event, because at the end of this session, we are going to decide on a date. This is a workshop. This is not a webinar. This is a workshop. We are going to do things. You're going to decide on a date. You are going to decide on what type of event. You're going to decide how you're going to fill that event. There's a lot of work that you're going to do. And I want you to implement on that work. That is why I'm asking you this question. So that inner work, those 5 things, I want you to do them before tomorrow and come back fully committed, okay? Because that commitment starts today. It doesn't start kind of a year from now or Monday. Hi everyone from the Female Entrepreneur Community Group. I can see you. Thank you so much for being here. So that is a little bit of inner work. So now we have looked into how the market have changed, how we need to build trust very fast, how we are in a type of a trust recession. It takes longer. We need some place to close that gap, the gap of trust and the gap of human connection. Your virtual event. We looked into the baseline of a business, which is getting new people in. We can call it lead generation, so everybody understands. Build trust with those people, lead nurturing, and convert that trust into paying clients, lead conversion. Your virtual event is going to do that, right? We talked about the buying behaviors of people, or more the psychological buyers triggers. Your virtual event is going to tap on all 5, okay? And we have now committed to take what we learn, and when this excitement that we are going to be in for the next 2 days is all gone, you're still going to do it, okay? You're still going to pull through. So now we are going to move, and any questions, type in the chat. I can't see really the chat. The participant covers almost anything, but I'm going to go back in the chat at the end. So add all the questions there. But we are now going to work on your next event, okay? Because I hope that everyone is here, see that a virtual event is going to be your catalyst for not only getting clients and money and create impact 2026, but also claim your category, grow your list, and also grow your audience, right? So when we talk about running event, we talk about something, and you're going to hear it a lot over the 2 next days, event cycle. So we now need to understand, before we plan out how many events we are going to do, we need to understand what an event cycle is, okay? And event cycle can be long and short. And everyone that is coming in to my virtual event sales lab, we help you decide how long it's going to be, right? But it's very important for everyone that you understand what a cycle is. A cycle starts before the event with something that we call a runway. A runway is everything that happens before the event. So it's not only lead generation, even if that is a big part of it. But we do other things in the runway. That is before the event. You have a runway, okay? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Then we have the event in itself. And this can be anything. So this can be a 1-day event, like a webinar, or a 5-day challenge. But we usually say that this is the event week, or the event part of the cycle. So runway, the event goes live. Then we move into sell. Because the event in itself, you're going to open cards, you're going to sell in the event, right? But you continue selling afterwards, right? It doesn't stop. It's not like you say to people, okay, you buy now before I move and then I close the cart. That is not going to happen. About 20 to 40% of the sales comes in after the event is offline, right? So you have the sales. So runway, event, sales. And what you need then is to reset that cycle. Right? So what you do is that you look into, okay, now I have done my cycle. It's this long. Now I'm going to reset it. So I'm going to start my runway on March the 1st, for an example, right? It's a reset process. And that is a cycle. And that entire cycle is going to do lead generation, lead nurture, lead conversion for you. in a cycle, very predictable. It's the same event, the same cycle. You can build how many cycles you want. It doesn't matter. You can have 15 events, but you're going to start with one, okay? So you're going to run that event in cycles. And that is how you build a rinse and repeat, copy and paste process of kind of covering the fundamentals in your business. Okay, so that is a cycle. And depending on what event that you choose, that cycle is going to be long and it's going to be short. And we can't kind of decide for everyone how it's going to kind of look like. But now we're going to move into what type of event, because that is going to help you tomorrow to think about, okay, maybe I need to do this amount of lead generation. Okay. I'm going to share different type of event, and you could think about what event do you want to do and what could be the best fit. Okay. There's a lot of them. And I can promise you, I've tried them all. I have run everything from 15-minute event up to entire days. I have run paid event. I have run free event. I have run workshop, masterclasses, live launch. I have done it all, okay? But the baseline is that you run it for one day. And when I say one day, it's not a full day. It's a webinar or a masterclass. So usually maybe 30 minutes to 90 minutes, right? That is usually the length. I call them a one-day event because there's only one day, okay? Another event is either a 2 or 3 day event. This that you're joining now is a 3-day event, okay? I like this format, a 3-day event. But I have one client that hosted a 2-day event just, I think it's like 3 weeks ago or something. And that was a 2-day event. So a 2-day or 3-day, it can be a workshop, more this workshop style, or a challenge, for an example, or pure kind of webinar or something, but it runs over more than one day, 2, 3. Then you have the longer that most people call the 5-day challenge. It runs over 5 days. So it's a 5-day process. It usually starts Monday and it ends Friday. Those are the most common formats. And I would say pick one of those because it's going to be easy. Everyone understands. Right? You don't come up with something that no one gets. It's very hard when no one gets what you do. So pick one of those, either 1 day, 2, 3, or 5. You can do a 4-day as well, but you either 1 day or a week, okay? There is no right here or wrong here. And I know there's a lot of people that say that the only event that works today is this event, right? Because they sell that strategy. I am a strong believer that you should pick the one that you want to do. Because if you do something that you do not want to do, it's going to suck. I'm just going to say it. I'm just honest with that. Because it's not so much what you do as it is who you are when you do it. And if you show up running a 5-day event, but you hate 5-day events and you just, oh my God, do I need to go live again on day 2 and day 3? That energy is going to project right into the audience. And they are going to pull back and they're not going to show up. And the less people that show up, the more your energy is going to go down. And it's going to be a downhill, okay? On the other hand, I love multiple day. I could go live 5 days, 9 days, but no one wants to join 5 and 9 days. That is why I don't do it, but I could because I love it. Josephine here, she doesn't. She runs masterclasses because that is what she want to do. Pick the one that you want to do. There is no one size fits all. You decide. It's your business. Number 1, don't pick something that you do not want to do, okay? Second thing, look into what your dream clients most likely would want to join. If I would target busy stay at home, let's say busy full-time working moms with small children, that most likely would not be a good fit to pick a 5-day challenge. Because it's going to be exhausting for them to try to even join 5 days in a row. It's just not going to work. So that is the second thing you can think about when it comes to picking this. The third thing is, of course, what are you going to sell? What are you going to sell? So let's say you sell very high ticket offers. Then I would say a longer event is going to give you more time to build trust. Because the higher the ticket, the bigger the trust you need to have, right? If you do let's say a masterclass or a webinar for a very high ticket offer, you would most likely need to do calls because you need to close them on a call. And then you need to ask yourself, do I want to do calls? Do I have the trust enough to show up 60 minutes and sell a 10K offer? Do I have that trust from my audience? So that is also the third thing. But the number one thing, what do you want to do? So that is one of the work that we're going to have to work that I want you to have decided to tomorrow when we're going to look into the runway. What event that do you want to do? What feels good for you? And if you want support, ask in the community, say that I'm thinking of this. This is my dream client. This is what I'm going to sell. What do you think? Because then we can kind of support you. Okay. So that is the first thing that you need to decide. Then I want you to see that event. Now you know what a cycle is. Okay, you now can picture yourself doing, let's say we do a 5-day challenge in a cycle. So we invite people, we run the 5-day challenge, we sell for some days, and then we reset that cycle in the calendar like this, boom, boom, all throughout the entire year. What could that actually give me in 2026? We need to look into that, right? Because that is how the commitment is going to stay put. Because if we don't see how this actually, what this actually could give us, it's very hard to kind of that commitment goes down the drain. Okay, that is very easy. It just disappears because we can't see what is possible. I think you all know who Alex Hormozi is, right? You could see his launch. I don't remember how many people that was in that launch, but it's the biggest ever. That was like a webinar style, right? So there is no limit. That is the first thing you need to understand. When you sell one to many, no limit. There's no limit how many people you can have in front of you. That is number one you need to understand. And that is kind of the external growth. Because the more we run it, every cycle we built, every cycle we run the reps, we become better and better. We build mastery. That is also external mastery when it comes to how do I show up, lead generation, getting people pulled in, getting registrations, my landing page. That is external growth in building mastery, which means every cycle you run, more people are going to sign up if you start building mastery on pulling people in. Right? Then you have the event in itself. It's internal mastery. So you grow confidence, right? I have done almost 400 events. So I run this without notes. So you see it's a lot of freestyling, but I didn't do that in the beginning. I had really good script that I kind of followed. So I made sure that I covered everything and didn't forget and didn't jump around too much, right? But it's internal mastery. It's when you run something, so you build mastery inside. Your flow is going to be better. Your connection is going to be better. Your gestures maybe is going to be better. Your voice, your energy, how you project, sharing stories, right, is going to be better. Your kind of bridges, we're going to talk a lot about bridges tomorrow and Friday, or Thursday, sorry, you don't need to hear me on Friday, Thursday, when we talk about sales bridges, when we move into sales. The more you do that, you grow in here and you become more powerful and more energy, and it's going to convert higher. So external growth, mastery, pulling more people in, the sales page is better, the calls are better. It's the external, internal mastery. It converts higher, right? So if you just, we need to make this simple since I don't have a calculator. Let's say our offer is $1,000 so we can count easily. Our first event we run in the end of January, maybe. Your offer is $1,000. We get 50 signups. It's our first event, and we get 50 signups, right? And we close, let's say we close at 10%, so we close 5 of them. So out of those 50, 5 people bought. That is 5,000, right? The next time I run it, I have built external mastery. I start building external mastery. I'm on my way to mastery here. So I get 75 people the next time in February. Okay, 75 people come in. I close, let's say I close the same. So I close maybe 5% of them. I don't know how much that is, maybe 7 people. And I make 7,000. And then I run a couple of them. So I start building this mastery as well. So I now am more confident and I can talk about my offer with more confidence. So I grow inside here, but I also grow outside. So I get even more people in. So the third time I run it, I get 100 people pulled in. I am now grown. So I close 10 of those. I close at 10%. All of a sudden it's a 10K event. So every cycle you run, you build mastery. And I want you to kind of look into your own growth, add a little in each event that you're going to run, and look what that actually could take you throughout the year. Okay? And then all of a sudden, launch 6, let's say launch number 6, you double the investment of your offer. You have 150 signups, or you may not double it, and you sell it for 1,500. And then all of a sudden you convert the same, because now you feel a little, ooh, I have increased the investment, so your energy drops a little. It's still 22,500 in sales, right? Because you have run the reps of it. And that is why I talked about the commitment so much, because this is where most people go wrong. They run an event, it goes, yeah, pretty good. They run one more, and then it didn't work out that well, and they say, yeah, webinars doesn't work. Well, you didn't stay long enough to build mastery. And that has to do with everything. It doesn't matter if it's an event or whatever it is. You need to commit to building mastery. You need to commit to run the reps of everything that you do. That is how events turn into a money-making machine. Okay? So I have some homework for you. Homework, maybe not the right word. We are not in school, but I like homework. Implementation steps that I want you to do tomorrow. Number 1, I want you to look into what you're going to sell. Write it down very clearly. I'm going to sell my this offer, it's this investment. So you know, because tomorrow we're going to talk about lead generation, and we're going to tap into the content, and the content in your event is going to sell that offer. That is very important to understand. It's going to sell that offer. So decide on the offer, write down the investment, write down how much money you want to make in your first event and throughout 2026. Do the math that you increase a little bit every time you're going to run the event next year. Look into what type of event that you want to do, so we can talk more about the runway tomorrow. So we have a little bit of ideas what event that you want to do. And then I want you to pick a date. I want you to look in the calendar and decide on a date when you want to run it. I do not encourage anyone to run any type of event the week that Christmas is. That is not a good week, but you could run one next week, but it's going to be a tough one to get signups for that one. So it's going to be January. So I want you to decide on a date when you're going to run that. You're going to take that inside tomorrow, the live event, but also you could share it in the community. And if you need any type of feedback, you write it in the Facebook community. You have the link inside of and one of the emails, or I think all the emails, okay? There is a link to the community and you can come in there, okay? So that is the homework that I want everyone to kind of do for tomorrow. And before we kind of close down today, I want to speak directly to the people that have kind of felt, you're not only listening, you have really felt that, yes, virtual events, I can see how a virtual event is going to replace a lot of things that I'm running around doing today, posting everywhere, spending hours and hours on social media. Just look in your audience. How many people do you think? Look at your audience. Let's say we have 1,000 followers on Facebook. I don't know. How many of those people do you believe could be a dream client that could actually benefit from your offer? Let's say we have 50. I just make up a number here, okay? How much time would it take you to connect with those people, get them into a direct message, maybe get them on a call, maybe 2 calls. I don't know how many calls you need to do to close a client. Send DMs to each and every one of those people. Because even if you connect with all 50, not all of them is going to buy right away. That is going to happen. So out of those, you maybe close, I don't know, 4. Then you have 46 to go. How much time would that take you? Okay. And if you understand now that instead of doing all that, you're actually going to invite them to a room where you're going to speak and build trust, and not all is going to buy in from that room either, but you're going to sell one to many and save massive amount of time. So it's going to replace all the things that you run around doing today. And it's going to be one predictable sales process that is going to grow your audience. It's going to grow your list because you're going to do lead generation. People end up on your list. You're going to claim your category. You're going to be the best known expert of that topic. You're going to build trust very fast. You're going to have a predictable income. You're not going to wake up wondering where your clients are going to come from. So you're going to know exactly when you run your event, when you're going to get in clients, and you're going to change the world, because that is what we do. Because there's going to be a massive amount of people that experience you, that you also change their life, even if they never becomes clients. I have had tens of thousands of people running through these workshops that I have changed the life for them, even if they never became a client of mine. Okay. And for you who actually see that, yes, this is what I really can see, that this is what I want to do, you stay. I have like 5 minutes left that I want to share how we work in our 8-step inside of the virtual event sales lab. And for you who feel, no, I need more, I want to do my homework, I'm going to come back, I will see you tomorrow. Okay. And it's the same time, same Zoom, everything, 12 p.m. If you need support, go into the Facebook group. Okay. If you need support on your homework. And for you who stay, I want to take you a little bit. I'm going to spend like, what is the time? Yeah. So the last 8 minutes, I'm going to just quickly spend, actually take you through backside of a little behind the curtains and show you why I created the virtual event sales lab and what happens when you step into it. Because for years, and you know, I shared my story. I have been doing this since 2020 full time. And from 2019, I have helped others. I have run virtual events since 2017 is when I launched my first one. And I have been doing this for years. I've been teaching people how to create high converting virtual events. And one thing that I kind of kept coming back to, and it has taken me a long time, as you hear, because I'm doing this for many years. So unfortunately, but one thing that I have come back to is that again and again is that you were ready. Right? I have said that, yeah, I want to run my events. You wanted to run your event. You want to implement. You want support. But you need to wait for my next cohort, right? Because I run my business in cohorts. But you shouldn't need to have to wait, because this is the thing with virtual events. They're created like this. They're not, you can't sit here and wait. Okay, I'm going to decide on you doing an event and I'm going to launch it in June. That is not how it works. You're going to run it, because that is how we built mastery, by implementing and execute. And that is the beauty with events, because you just run it. You built it, you run it at the same time, and then you run it in cycles. And I don't want you to kind of wait until I open up. I want you to be able to do it when you want to do it. That is reason number one I created this. The second reason is that I created the lab is that I saw a lot of things when people join memberships and programs. And I think you can agree, we have all kind of bought into this. We join and we hope for clarity. We hope for direction. We hope for leadership, especially. We hope for support. And instead, we got overwhelmed. There was no structure. We join and we just see massive amount of content, but we don't know where to go and when. Very comprehensive programs, right? And especially in memberships, when we run membership, because there's a lot of things inside of a membership and we are just lost. And when you're lost, when you don't have clarity, leadership, and a real direction, nothing happens, right? We just stay in overwhelmed and nothing is going to happen. We are not going to get the result that we want. So those are the two biggest reasons why I wanted to create this. So I created the virtual event sales lab to be the exact opposite of that. Okay, it's the exact opposite of cohorts. It's exact that I always run, and it's exact opposite of overwhelm. Okay, there is no guessing, no wondering, no drowning in kind of endless content, because in the lab we follow a direct pathway, and I'm going to show you the 8 steps. And behind or included in those 8 steps, you have small steps. And you just follow them. Click, 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 click. You don't kind of go here and then you go here and you go here. It's exactly step by step. Because that is one of the reasons we are not getting the result that we want, because we don't know what step is next, right? So I'm going to show you the 8 steps. And there is no kind of skipping ahead or bounce around, or you're just going to follow the path to build out and run a high converting virtual events. And these are the same step that every single successful client that I have had followed. Exactly the same step, okay? It's everything that I have ever learned, ever tested, ever run inside of that. Things I have tried, things that I know works, things that I still do today. As you see, I still do virtual events, right? I don't kind of do stuff, I don't teach things that I don't do myself or I haven't tested myself. It's everything inside, okay? But the thing is that I want to share before I show you the 8 step, you're not left alone with videos. And that is the other reason why the path is one way to not get lost. But it's also important when it comes to structure to get help and to get direction and support. So I have built this in kind of 3 stages of support. Can we call it that? I don't know. 3 levels. Maybe it's a better word. 3 levels. Level number 1 is strategy. Strategy live strategy session. For you who joined, first one is on Monday. I know we are soon to Christmas, but I am not stopping. So we have a strategy session on Monday about audience alignment and about market gap. And I'm going to show you that in a second. So it's a strategy session that is in one of these 8 steps. So you can just follow along, right? The second thing is, of course, implementation and Q&A, because you need to ask questions, you need help implement, you need help with support, maybe troubleshooting, you might need help coaching, all those kind of things. So, of course, one level is implementation and Q&A, okay? The third level that we talked a little bit about today, it's to build skill. And because strategy is one thing, but skill is what makes you massive successful. And the next skill session is going to be about sales psychology. And that is going to be the one that Jens runs in January. Of course, we don't run any now, big Christmas. So those are the 3 levels of strategy, direction, support, Q&A and implementation, and building skill. Because we kind of forget that sometimes we just run with the strategy, but we don't build specific skills about stuff that we actually is going to help us. So those 3 levels is inside of the membership. And it's exactly the same things that Claire used to. She ran 3-day workshop for her very first time, got 15 high ticket clients. We have Josephine here. She got 92 clients last year using the same strategy. We had Lisa who closed 5K in her first webinar. Then there were 24 in a second webinar. Sarah closed 5 clients, new offer. It wasn't just a brand new offer. She was an established coach. She just launched a brand new offer. Guinevere closed $40,000 in a 2-day. It's just some weeks ago. High ticket offer. And we have Anna, who ran her absolute first masterclass, closed 2 clients. And I think she only had I think it was 20 signups or something, brand new. So this is the same. And it's not luck. I'm just going to say it's not luck. It's not throwing information together, okay? So I'm going to show you the pathway so you understand the 8-step process inside and why we do them as we do. So I'm going to quickly share my screen, and this is not the skill set that I have sharing my screen. Sorry if it's a little, looks like I'm all over the place. But I just want you to understand the steps. And this is going to help you for tomorrow. This is also going to help you now when you're going to decide your event and things. One thing that a lot of people are missing when they build, so this is the Virtual Event Sales Lab pathway, market gap definition. So a lot of people have amazing programs, but they don't understand how to close a gap on the market. They don't even understand where is the gap, what is the gap. So that is step number 1, identify the market gap. And this change, depending on when, the gap that is today might not have been here 2 years ago. Okay, so this is an ongoing process. What a lot of people also kind of don't think about when it comes to virtual event is that your virtual event is actually going to be the bridge between offer and audience. So there needs to be a total alignment, and we're going to talk more tomorrow about that. So that is the second step that you're going to do. You are going to align your audience with the offer that you're going to sell so you can build the bridge between. Then, of course, we need leads, and we have an audience. We need to activate that audience and pull in those leads. So we are going to build a runway that we're going to talk about tomorrow, how you're going to align that audience that you have and pull leads in. Then you build your event, and here you have all types of event. It doesn't matter what event, I have done it all. I can support you on all. But here you build the event in itself. It's the structure of the event that you're going to run. So those people come into that event. Then you are going to sell in that event, right? So you're going to build the content that drives the decisions, but you're also going to sell. And inside an event on Thursday, you're going to understand how this is not a moment that happens when you open cart. So you're going to look into the entire sales process inside of the event. But as I said, a lot of event happens after, right? So you need to understand how you're going to sell. After the event, you have closed down the Zoom room, you're going to continue selling. So that is the next step. That is the cycle that we talked about. But then I also talked about external and internal growth. If you want to go in that scale and start increase your conversion and increase the people that show up. So you need two more things after that is a continuous growth. And that is a groom growth. This is audience growth. This is not about, I'm not talking about metrics that we need to have thousands of people in our audience. It's a come across. There's a massive different ways to come across new people to grow visibility for ourselves, our business, and our virtual events. That is a continuous all the time, right? Between all the events. But it's also internal work. So the last step is the energetic leadership. It's you. It's how you grow as a person and be a better presenter and be a better closer or whatever you might call it, lead with better energy and all those kind of things. That is inner work. So these two, you might think, why don't I start with that? Well, you can't build mastery in a vacuum. This is built by running the reps of this. And I want you to make money. So we can't start working with this for 6 months, right? And then we run the event because then you don't make any money for 6 months. We don't want that. You run the event and then you start building mastery by running the reps and external and internal growth. And that is how the membership and each and every one of these have step by step, no confusion kind of anything, okay? For everyone that wants to join, today up until midnight, I have a huge bonus, and that is a one-to-one session. So Josephine is going to share the link. So for you who want to jump right in, you get access to everything, but I have a clear path that I want you to follow. It's a one-to-one session with me that we're going to do either at the end of this week or next week to set up your next event. So it's a 60-minute session, just you and me together. I can't give it to everyone, okay? So it's going to be for the first 6 people, okay? I'm going to close that at the midnight today because I'm not going to pull that bonus for the rest of the days. Midnight Eastern Standard Time, no more one-to-ones, okay? So you get a one-to-one. Next week, we have another bonus. We run a planning session. So we run a 1.5 hour 2026 planning session for all our clients. So you're going to join that so you actually can plan out your event for the entire year, okay? The investment, you might think, okay, this is a huge investment. One of the things that I wanted to actually give is everyone should be able to actually access this and not only get the strategies that a lot of people teach, strategy, right? Get all the other stuff as well. My expertise, but also the internal and external growth and understanding the market gap and all the things that we work with, because I'm a strong believer of energetic selling. So the investment to join is only $145 per month until Monday midnight, because then it goes back to $195. $195 is the original investment, but from now until Monday midnight, when I close this and I remove the replays, it's $145 per month. You're locked in at that investment. So when it goes back to $195, you still have the $145. I have no contract on this, okay? You can cancel anytime. There is no contract, there is no annual plans. It's a monthly that you can cancel anytime, okay? And so, Josephine, I'm not sure, I just need to scroll here. The link is in the comment section, so click on it, jump in. One thing that I want to mention, I'm going to send out the replay now, about an hour. Then I send this opportunity for the one-to-ones to my entire list. It goes out to everyone. So don't wait if you want to grab one of those spots. You're going to get a separate mail with a link to book the call, because it's not going to be in the portal, because it's not accessible for anyone else. So you're going to get a special link tomorrow after we have closed the one-to-ones down to you, so you can book that call. I've opened the calendar later this week, but also the entire next week. So how did we have any type of questions that we should cover? Commit running the reps. Don't think so. Most of the questions, we're going to collect them. Most of the questions going to be answered tomorrow. Make sure you come tomorrow, you do the homework, if you want to call it that, implementation, so you can continue building on your event, the runway, the content, and the sales process. Okay? And make sure, jump in, click on the link, come and join us. You have access right away, but there is a clear path. There is a video that explains exactly where you're going to start. You're not going to fall off that path, okay? Monday, we run a strategy session talking about market gap definition and offer an audience alignment. So you get a kickstart. So you can run your event in January and get clients and get paid. That is our goal, right? Clients and get paid. That is our ultimate goal. So thank you so much for today. So we have 2 sessions next week. Yeah, because we run the planning session. It's a bonus. It's for all the clients is to set up the 2026. So we're going to look at when you're going to host your event in the entire year. And we're going to talk a little bit about marketing in and out of launch. What you're going to do when you're not running an event, what are you going to do between to actually grow an audience and get more people pulled in. So that is what we are going to do. So thank you so much for today. And then I will see you all here back tomorrow. So take care, everyone. If you watch the replay of this, make sure you click on the link below this, okay? Because the clock is ticking for the one-to-one, and it's an amazing opportunity. The people that have joined not only this, but also my bigger programs that we have run before, have said that session has been worth the investment alone. And now it's just 145. It's a bargain. It's a no-brainer. So I hope to see you inside, and then I will see you tomorrow. So take care, everyone. Bye.